Hi, everyone. Welcome. Ah, so, what are we drinking today? Me? I am drinking Lover's Leap, Stephen Smith tea. I'm trying to get through the box. I've made a little bit of a commitment to myself that when I won't buy more tea till I get through or get down to what I have. So I'm not stuck with a lot of tea. To get through and continue to buy more. So I'm also excited to try their spring line. So their spring tea is out. So yes, trying to get through that so we can do that. I also realized that I didn't tell you my mug story last week. It's the same mug. Well, I have two of them. So, anyways, this one is a mug that was made by John Burke. So my husband's an emergency veterinarian, and we're both animal lovers, and so there is an organization called Harley's Dream. They work mostly with North Shore animal rescue. They all rescue animals that have been bred, and so breeders that are given up the dogs that have been bred because they can no longer breed them and they've been mistreated and everything. So they go and they adopt them from the breeders when they hold auctions to rescue them. They also, Harley's Dream also does shelter pulls as well. So if a shelter or a rescue contacts them with an older dog that's in the shelter, they'll pull them as well. But they also do. Harley was well known. He is a dog with one eye. And so, yes, John Burke had created these mugs to do a fundraiser for them. And it says Harley's Dream on it. So it's really cute. So yes, that's my story. Definitely check them out if you are if you're into animal rescue charities and everything. So yes, they do great work. They have really cute things too. They also work with, there's another dog named Teddy that was part of that as well. And they do Halloween stuff to like take a bite out of puppy mills. So yes, it's really cute. Anyways, so today we're talking about caretakers and the importance of caretakers taking care of themselves. So my role as a caretaker, I was my mother's caretaker as well as my father. What we did or how we played that out was I had done freelance work at the time. So doing freelance work, I was able to set my own schedule. I could say, turn down jobs if I needed to, as far as income. And then my dad was he was working as well. So my mom was still working, but like on her day, when she was going through treatment and stuff, she took so many days off. And I don't know if you remember one of the other videos, I talked about how her boss's boss had actually set it up where she could work from home if she needed to and didn't feel like going into the office, but kind of felt up to doing some work. And so before remote work was really a thing. And so what I did was I took care of my mom. I was at every doctor's appointment, every chemo session, every radiation appointment, and because she had radiation every day, and then she had chemo once every 3 weeks, so 4 rounds of chemo, and these were 4-hour sessions because her oncologist was amazing. Her oncologist did not herself did not like to feel nauseous. So she didn't want her patients to feel nauseous. So for about 2 hours, she had 2 different drugs that she had given my mom to help prevent her from feeling nauseous before she gave her the actual chemo. And she also had given her medications to give her or to start taking like 3 days before she had started before her chemo appointment. So that, to help with that, to help her not be able to feel nauseous. And so, yes, that was what she did. And so my main goal was to take care of my mom my dad he took care of we owned a small business, so he took care of that as well as he had a night job. So that was what he did. And then we, in between, and then when my mom was able to do things for herself, she did it. We were just there to pick up the slack. So I was literally my mom's walking, talking medical record. I could tell you everything they did, everything that had been done, every discussion that had happened with all the doctors. And I went and sat with her for 4 hours in the infusion. And I did nothing for myself. My dad, he kind of the same thing. He really did not do anything for himself. He kind of had an out because he delivered Wall Street journals for a company at the time. And so he could, drive the truck at night and kind of get away and have his time to himself at the time. And at the time he had his brothers to be able to talk to, but neither one of us really did anything for ourselves. When my mom, when she was able to work and I had work, but again, I didn't really do anything for myself. So by the time my mom had went into remission, at that point, we hit our goal. Like that was our goal. And it was kind of, okay, what do we do now? Because that was our main focus, was to get her there. And once my mom got there, at that point, I felt so, those wind up dolls that you wind them up and then you let it go and they go, and they just go around. Yeah. Well, I felt like a wind up doll that never got any release from that. So it was like, what do I do? I was on edge all the time. And I did not take care of myself. So from then on, that was always my one piece of advice to every caretaker. Even now, if you get nothing else out of this video, other than take care of yourself as well, because you need to take care of yourself so you can take care of them. They're going through that. They don't need to worry about you. They need to worry about getting in remission and getting their head on right to be able to get through what they're going through. So they don't need to worry about anything else. Also, too, if you get sick, no matter what kind of chemo they're taking, their immune system is compromised. So if you get sick, you're not going to do any good being around them, nor are you going to do any good to be able to take care of them, because you can't be around them, because you're only putting them more at risk. So yes. So make sure you take care of yourself. So whether you figure out do you need to go read a book? Do you need to go take a yoga class? Do you need to go do something? Figure out what's going to help give you some relief and some escape for a little bit of time. Now, a lot of things that we will be talking about in the future videos and things that you can do are things that you can do as well, and that could help you. These are not just for cancer patients. These are things that you yourself can help, and I would definitely recommend trying to find something that's going to work for you and help you get through this. So, yes, that is my main soapbox. Caretakers. Now, you do not have to be like me and be the walking, talking medical record. By no means. That's just, I was very close to my mom. My mom was my best friend. So literally talked to her 2 to 3 times every day. So yes, I love my mom very much. I know what she did for me, or understood what she had done for me, the sacrifices she had made for me in her life. And I appreciated it. And I had always said, if I spent the rest of my life trying to repay my parents for what they have done for me, I would never be able to repay them back. And so that was just something I felt like I could do for my mom, and I did for my mom. And so just because I did that doesn't mean you have to do that. And it doesn't mean that it was wrong. It's wrong if you don't do that. So even with her hospital visits, I was with her in the hospital. I stayed the night with her in the hospital, so much so that one time with one of the hospital visits she was in, the nurses, because I took care of my mom, that we weren't pushing the button for like something to drink or anything every time. It even got to the point they gave me the code to the room so I could actually go and get it as needed for my mom. And then it actually helped out because anytime, like if we did have to call the nurse, they were quickly to respond because they knew that it was something of nature, like nature, that they needed to be there. It wasn't just us asking for a drink or something. So that was really nice. But you need to do what works best for you and your relationship with that person. um, but also understand, like, you're also at the same time too, my father and I, you're also the protective person. You're also the guardian at the gate, is what I'd like to say for this person. So not only are you the caretaker, you're also this person's confidant, but you're also the person that you're gonna have to be able to help set boundaries for them, for other people. So what do I mean by that? If your loved one is not feeling up to seeing people and somebody calls and wants to come by, you just tell them, no, today is not a good time. If they want to send food or whatever, just tell them, hey, drop it off. Let me know when you're here. I'll come out and get it. Or now there's Uber Eats. There is DoorDash. You can actually have food delivered now from most places. I know there's other places that's like the smaller areas that's kind of a little bit more challenging. I came across that with my grandmother when there was something specific she was craving, and I don't live in the same city as my grandmother did. So I was looking up online to see if I can get it sent to her through DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. But the specific restaurant, like, they didn't deliver to where she lived. So it's, so yes, you're going to have a challenge with that on some areas. But my point being, you're the guardian of the gate. You have to make sure that if they set those boundaries, that people are not crossing those boundaries, because they're not going to feel up to it. And sometimes, your loved ones, they're going to feel guilty saying no to people. Sometimes they're going to feel guilty setting boundaries. So you're going to have to be that person to help them. Make sure they don't feel up seeing anybody, feel up talking to anybody. Take messages, have them reach back out whenever they feel up to it or whatever. So yes, that is definitely your job as a caretaker. And two, if possible, try not to do it alone. If you can have someone else do it with you so you guys can tag team, it's a lot easier that way. It takes some relief off of you. But yes, you're not, when you're a caretaker too, it is, but it isn't a 24-hour job. When I say it is, but it isn't, so the times, though, depending on every situation is different, but depending on what's going on. So it was only a 24-hour job for me when my mom was in the hospital, having, like, if she had to have surgeries. So 2 different surgeries. So when she was in the hospital, from the time we went in to the time she checked out, like, I was at the hospital and stayed with her. Or when she had her chemo, I was with her from the session until, like, my dad and I, we were there with her until she felt better and that she can do things on her own. Because the next couple of days after chemo, like, she felt like shit, because it was kick-ass chemo. Like, the type of chemo she had was like the strongest of the strong, and it literally, I always said that it literally had her clinging for life, because it was what it did to her. But she survived it. She's strong. And I know a lot of chemo has changed since then, because you guys remember this is back in 2006, so a lot of it has changed. But after that, when my mom, in between sessions, so once she felt better, then it was once she felt better, so then I didn't have to be there to take care of her. She could take care of herself. We just kind of did our own thing. Um, and so with that, so that's why it wasn't at that point, it wasn't a 24-hour job. It was just, I'm there if she needed, pick up the slack. If she wanted something clean, she cleaned it. If she didn't get it finished, me or my dad would go in behind her and finish it. So that's, yes. But yes, the caretaker needs to be very supportive. You need to also figure out what path they want to take with their treatment. Now, and whether you agree with it or not, have the discussion, and then you need to be supportive for what they discuss. If they want to do treatments and you prefer that they do go more natural, talk about it. But then if they still decide they want to do treatments, let them do the treatments. That's what they go with, and support them with it. Now, if you want to do research for, on different things with what's going on, and then at some point, like if they say something, hey, I did research, this is the research, if you want to try this, etc., then do that. But other than that, you have to be supportive. This time they need nothing but positive people around them and people who are supportive. They also do not need people who are going to get upset with this thought that they may not get through this. So those people, you need to keep them at arm's length. Okay? Because the person going through it does not need to get upset. Trust me, I know the thoughts probably cross their mind that they may not get through this, but they need to stay focused. If they want to get through this, if they want to get in a remission and how they want to do it, they need to stay on that path. They need to keep their mind on that path, and you need to help them be there, do that. And you need to make sure that people who are not there supporting them stays at arm's length. Okay? It's a tough job, but like I said, when the house is on fire, you guys need to put the fire out. Okay? And only people, if your house was on fire, you wouldn't let somebody come in there that wants to throw gasoline on it, would you? No. So you'd only let people in who threw water on it to help put it out, right? So it's the same thing with someone going through this, is that you need to be there. You need people around that's going to help you, support you, to bring in that positive energy, positive thoughts, and help this person along. Okay? So, again, most important, caretakers, make sure you take care of yourself. Because trust me, if you don't, you're going to regret it once you get through it. Take my advice, take my word for it, because I did. And so that's also kind of the reason with the nonprofit, I made it for cancer patients and their caretakers, because they got to have somebody to be able to take care of them, but you have to take care of yourself so you can take care of them. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Next week, we'll start getting into the fun stuff on things that you can do to help you through. Like I said, some of it may be a little out there for you, but that's okay. Don't push it aside too much, because it might be something that may help you later on down the road. It may not. If it's not for you, that's fine, but something else may be that comes along. All right. So till next week, stay safe. All right. Stay strong. Take care of yourself. All right. And we'll see you under the willow tree.